I made a decent amount of games over 2022. Some good, some bad, and some completely unfinished. I didn't make many videos about them, so I'm making this one big one to tell you about all my feats throughout the year. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. The year started off with a top-down racing game I called Chaos Kart Racing, and it was made for the Juice Jam at the beginning of January. The game was fairly simple, with one map and basic car controls letting you race against AI racers trying to get 3 laps before them. But what made it special was the fact that there was a boss battle at the end of all 3 campaign levels you could play. Although the game was small, it felt quite big because I was able to add 3 separate game modes by slightly altering the map. They were lazy for sure, but that was a compliment I got quite often during the rating period of the jam, so it worked quite well in the end. Apparently the controls were really shitty according to practically everyone who played, but I never came back to update the game, so whatever. In the end, I feel like this game turned out quite alright, and it's one of my prouder projects. Later in March, I made a strange fusion of Terraria, plus Cookie Clicker, plus one of those shitty Roblox mining simulators, titled Metaquarry. The name was pretty random, but that's besides the point. I made this game for Lame Jam 15, a small public game jam where you weren't supposed to worry about the quality of your game. For most, this meant they could make a game in 5 hours and forget they ever made it. But not me. I decided that I'll add as much content as humanly possible without worrying about glitches over the span of 3 days, and ended up with a game with a stupid amount of content and a stupid amount of bugs alongside it. I might be trying to cope, but the bugs sort of add to the experience, like Gmod or Goat Simulator. Here's a neat little glitch you can exploit if you decide to play the game. If you unlock the final item, the Chroma Drive, you can repeatedly click it to infinitely stack its upgrade effects. It will break your game quite fast. After this, I went into a bit of a dark age. I created a ton of prototypes, and I might make a video on them at some point in the future, but I didn't really release anything because I was busy with school until the summer, where I created a barely finished arcade game simply called Lemon Ball! I made this game for WoWE 4.0 by Jonas Tyroller while on vacation. I'm a massive Jonas fan, so doing the jam was obviously more important than spending time with my family. I'm kidding, I would never prioritize game dev over my family, I just didn't sleep for 3 days so I could work by night. The game jam theme was collaborate with AI. I would have been excited if AI wasn't so hard to design. But still, I pushed through and made the game. It's a simple volleyball-esque game where you have an AI teammate that is constantly trying to bump the ball over to the other side of the net using simple AI that consists of jumping randomly and getting behind the ball, and evil robots are trying to do the same onto your side. First team to reach 10 points wins. That's it. On to the next game. This next game was a bit of a disaster. I won't sugarcoat it. Hell, I don't even recommend you play it. But definitely go play the other games on this list. They're fire, no cap, or whatever the kids say nowadays. You're Not Alone was made for Bracky's Game Jam 2022.2. For the game, I really wanted to make a retro FPS after seeing some retro FPSs online. The theme was You Are Not Alone, but I wanted to be all quirky and change it up, and I made it You Are Not Alone, because the game is about a bank of eldritch monsters trying to steal your organs, like a loan. Man, what the hell was I smoking back then? It was going very well at the beginning, but scope creep made me turn the game into an open world RPG in the span of a week. Obviously a horrific mistake. And it turned out very unfinished and boring since there was a massive open world with nothing to do apart from fight, find weapons, and talk to NPCs. Just overall, a big janky experience, although I do still think that the game had some strong points, like the organ system and the retro visual aesthetic I was able to obtain. We are now at probably my favorite game I made in 2022. A sandbox game simply titled Petri. Petri? I don't know. It was inspired by the game Worldbox, a god simulator where you place life forms and resources and watch everything interact with one another. Petri was made for another Lame Jam, the 21st edition of it. The game is set on a petri dish, and you simulate how various microorganisms live, such as tardigrades, worms, molds, and funny little people that say I like this game so much that I actually updated it several times, a first for me. If the game gets 100 downloads, it's at 90 right now, I might even update it again. Overall, this game was very cute and fun to mess around with. You could destroy local ecosystems, cause mass plagues, start zombie apocalypses, drop nukes, and even somehow form black holes. A very wholesome experience. Go play it now. The final game of 2022 is called 12 Days Till Christmas. Despite the name, it was not made 12 days before Christmas. It was released on the morning of Christmas Eve for the Jam Gam Christmas edition. 12 Days Till Christmas is sort of a tower defense without the idea of paths or roads. Instead, evil snowmen invade from one of 4 sides in 12 waves, all of them moving towards your precious Christmas tree that all of them really want to destroy for some reason. Each wave, you open one of 12 presents in reference to that one Christmas song where some dude gives you a growing number of various rare birds for several days in a row. and a porcupine at some point too, I think. These presents either gave you a new turret that you can buy, an enemy that will attack you, or just some coal because you've been bad. It's like Plants vs Zombies, but worse, and with a big RNG aspect making half your runs unplayable. This is another project I'm quite fond of. Some even say that it's my best project yet, so go play it, and tell me what you think, because I might even release a sequel called, I don't know, 12 Days of Not Christmas. That sounds catchy. Overall, I think that this has been a pretty successful year for me. I didn't upload on YouTube as much as I hoped to, but I still released some banger games. My New Year's resolution for 2023 is to release 10 games over the year. No, 20 games. 50 games. Start a game studio and pump out hundreds of shitty mobile games by exploiting my underpaid workers. Start a game franchise as big as the MCU. Form a massive loyal fanbase of hateable internet personalities and degenerates. Create malware that will collapse the entire world economy. Or maybe it's just to release some more YouTube videos. Either way, have a good new year, subscribe, join my Discord server, and I'll see you in 2023 where I release a recap of the coming decade of ZestyDev games before disappearing for another 3 decades.